Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. Let's talk a bit about departures. Yes, everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe. Well, happy Saturday. Hope your weekend's going well. It is a Saturday. And obviously, approaching rapidly January and the new year. And with that, obviously, the January transfer window. Ding, 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 ding. Keep an eye on the West Ham Network. We'll try and give you as much information, many of the rumours as they come out. There'll be plenty of them, that's for sure. Now, something that was raised in the David Moyes press conference yesterday was about transfers. And it's something we all sort of know a bit about in terms of, and we've got the actual direct quote there. We're always looking to try and bring into the squad and get better, but we might be looking to lose one or two players before we bring anyone in. And that's the narrative we've been given in terms of us needing to basically sell before we can buy. And the reason, why are you doing that? We've got so much money. Well, it's about FFP across 3 years. And what we might have spent, obviously we sold Declan Rice for one amount. We spent less, but we're already over from the previous year. So we have to sort of spend within our means, unfortunately. And obviously the whole debacle with Everton means that we have to be a bit more cautious. We don't want a situation like Everton to curtail a fantastic Premier League season where we've got more wins than calendar years we've ever had, apart from the 81 year, I think it was, 1981. And also, what was the other one I got? I screenshotted it because I was like, really? And also our best ever points haul halfway in our Premier League era. Actually, the top three are all David Moyes, 33. The previous one was 2 years ago when we finished 7th on 31. Still lie. Best one was 32 until this year. Although 31 points for Allardyce as well. But yeah, anyway, regardless of that. So we know there's going to have to be some exits. And we've spoken about it recently, like this week, a couple of days ago, about some of the players wanting to leave potentially in terms of squad players. I think obviously there's still a question mark over Lucas Paqueta, though I think that's going to be curtailed because there still hasn't been any outcome to this investigation yet. So that would be probably put forward to the summer transfer window. No doubt there's going to be people circling around Kudus and Alvarez, but hopefully we will bat those away. And obviously we've maintained Jared Bowen's value because obviously he's on a 7-year deal as well. But regardless of that, there's a number of players who are on the peripherals who, well, come the summer, we're going to have 8, 9-ish probably players out of contracts. So hopefully we'll try and, rather than let them run their contract down, we'll actually maybe sell them in January to then reinvest that money rather than them go for nothing in the summer. Yesterday, it was announced that the latest offer of a contract for Ben Johnson was turned down. He's wanting around £60,000 a week or something like that, which is crazy. But the likes of Everton are obviously interested in him as well. So what I've done is I've done a little diagram. So from left to right, this isn't an exhaustive list. This is just my opinion in terms of the likelihood of going in the January transfer window to the least likely. And obviously we could have extended that. We could have included Cresswell and things like that. But I just can't see Cresswell going anywhere unless someone's really desperate for a left back, in all honesty. The likes of Connor Coventry, you're going to get pennies for him, really. And I think we'll probably keep him on board more this season, more for the homegrown academy quota than anything else, in all honesty. I've also got the likes of Flynn Downs out on loan, and I still think there's a number of loan signings we will send out, the likes of maybe Divin if he signs a new deal. Probably similar to last summer transfer window, we'll probably let all the academy players all be available for loan, and then based on that, we'll see who we bring in. So anyway, here we go. So I thought I'd run it through and just give you my thoughts and also the interest that's been reported for each player. So Benrahma, I think Benrahma is our most likely departure in January. And the destination is twofold. It's either going to be in France or it's going to be in the Saudi Pro League. Now, obviously, the Saudi Pro League, I mean, I've put 15 to 20 million. I think that's probably the market value for him. I think maybe in the Saudi Pro League, you might be able to add 5 million quid onto that in terms of going to 25 million quid. Obviously, him being a Muslim player does bring a premium. We know the Saudi Pro League is extending its foreign quota from 8 in a squad to 11, I think it is, or 10 or 11. So you're going to see a raft of bids for players in the Premier League, particularly. And also those who are Muslim will have more interest. They're either going to be top players they're trying bidding for. I mean, the likes of Mohamed Salah is basically their dream signing. You know, Muslim and a top player in the Premier League. But he'll obviously bring a pretty penny. The likes of obviously Mahrez is already out there, and I think Benrahma could do well out there. Obviously on a lot more money, and arguably the standard of football is not as good as in the Premier League or even in League. Marseille apparently interested in him, and Lyon hold a long-term interest in Benrahma. And as I said, the Saudi Pro League looks like a potential destination as well. So it's one or two. The next is possibly the most desired of our players, and that's Thilo Kehrer. Thilo Kehrer seems to have been of interest to at least half a dozen European clubs. And that's not including the likes of Aston Villa as well in the Premier League. I think we'd probably more likely sell him abroad than sell him in the Premier League, in all honesty. He obviously has a contract which goes until 2026. So he commands a relatively high fee or higher fee compared to what we paid for him. If he was in this last year contract, yeah, it'd be slashed in half. I'd suggest at least. Obviously, we paid about 10 million quid from PSG. The likes of Stade Rennes, Monaco, Nice, Eintracht Frankfurt, AC Milan, and Roma have all expressed some interest in Thilo coming in. The likes of AC Milan, for example, have got a hell of a lot of centre half set injured. The likes of Tomori and people like that. Same with Roma. They're looking at bringing in available players to plug the gaps. As I said, it is a Euro year as well. The Euro is taking place in Thilo Kehre's home nation, so a move is likely in January, and that could be the one or two people that Moyes has mentioned could be going. Now, the one which I think it still surprises me, but I can see why he's being linked, is Aguerd. Now, Aguerd, where I think everyone else on that list isn't a first team player. They're part of the first team squad. They're not in the first 11. Naif is, and would therefore command a more substantial fee. There's been reports that Lyon hold an interest in him, and also the Saudi Pro League as well. They did try a late bid back in the summer for him and Zuma from different clubs. Neither obviously were successful. And I think they will probably go back in for Naif in January. A fee, apparently West Ham have set a price tag of £30 million on him. I don't want him to be sold. I think he offers a lot. I think he offers something very different to all of the other centre-halves we've got. All the other centre-halves, in my opinion, are lumps. You know, the likes of Zuma, the likes of Mavropanos, Ogbonna. These are lumps. They're not. I mean, Mavropanos can put a pass in, but again, is a classy defender. Yes, he doesn't suit the low block, but I think he does have that sort of ability to start attacks, to get crossfield balls in, to dip a shoulder and run with the ball. And yeah, he has had indifferent performances during his time at West Ham, the majority of them are when he's had to fill in at right back, or sorry, the right side of the centre halves, when Zuma's been out and he's partnered someone like a Bonner. He does a lot of chasing. He does a lot of stuff, a lot of covering for the likes of Emerson when he plays. I think personally it'd be a mistake to let him go, but money talks, and if a club, say one of the Saudi clubs or Leon, I don't think Leon would have 30 million quid at the moment. I think they're pretty skint at the moment. But if Al Ittihad or El Ittihad, yeah, that's what I mean, or Al Ahia or someone like that has 30 million quid, I think West Ham will listen to that offer. Then it's up to Naif as well, whether sort of he wants to go into the Saudi Pro League or wants to carry on at West Ham. I don't know. Similarly, I think Zuma, but I think there's more interest in Naif than Zuma. I think maybe because Naif is more of a, well, he's not injured all the time. There we go. So he'll probably play more than Zuma would do. Let's talk about Paulo Fornals. Paulo Fornals obviously signed a new deal, which was a little bit of a surprise. But I think that was mainly to maintain his value. Now, what was quite interesting was when you looked at, running up to him getting his contract extension, he was basically the first sub. He was the one it was always Benrahma was the first sub, but there was a change in about 4 or 5 weeks in a row, maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks in a row. When the first sub happened, it was Fornals. And then what happened at the Arsenal game, I thought that would have been a perfect, we 1-0 up, Paqueta's got injured. I thought it is nailed on that Fornals is going to come in and just shore up that midfield. Nope, he brings on Benrahma. Je ne sais pas. But I think you'll see Fornals move to a Spanish club. Again, Euros year. I mean, he's it would take a late run. But, playing in La Liga, you've got more chance, you've got more eyes on you in terms of the Spanish league. The likes of Sevilla have held a long-term hard on for him, as well as Barcelona as a relatively cheap midfielder, potentially to cover, again, injuries. So as I said, as it goes down, it's maybe less likely, but I think as it goes down, I can still see Pablo potentially leaving in January if there's an offer of around, I'd say, for about 10 million quid, not 15. I reckon about 10 million for him. He's 28 as well. And although he's signed an extension to his contract, he hasn't got a lot of time in that contract left. So maybe 10 mil. Danny Ings. Hasn't worked out for Danny, which is a shame because he's a lovely guy as well. And you can see he's trying hard, but it just doesn't work in our system. He never has worked in our system since we signed him as a panic buy last year. To be honest, he hasn't scored. Striker rate scored. I think what would be the best outcome for him and for West Ham would be for someone like Southampton to come in for him. They have been linked with a move for Danny. They need a bit of firepower as well. He obviously had a good spell at Southampton, one of the clubs he's best known for. And then, obviously, we still have Flynn Downs there. There's still us with interest in Carl Walker-Peters. So there could be some sort of deal done. Again, 10 to 15, probably not. I think around the £10 million mark because he's still a proven Premier League striker. I think 10 million quid's would be a fair deal for him. Then we talk about BJ, Benny Boy Johnson. As I said, he seems to, according to I think it's Clarence Hugh, he's just rejected the latest contract offer from the club, and I mean, technically, he didn't actually sign the new deal. We activated his 2-year add-on. We had an option for anyway. So, he hasn't signed the new deal for the last 3 years, really. But I think what would be interesting to see is the sides that would come in for him. Now, Everton apparently have an interest in him Sean Dyche is a fan of him and his versatility. That could be an option. The fullbacks for Everton, Seamus Coleman seems to kick in and out injuries and that type of thing. Ben Johnson come in and cover that. He can even cover left back as well. So that could be an option. Southampton, another option for Ben Johnson as well. Maybe in a swap deal for Kyle Walker-Peters. Just throwing it out there as an idea, putting 2 and 2 together. But around, I think if he got 5 million for him, it would be a good deal, considering how much he's has left on his contract. Like he's got 6 months left. On top of that, you got the likes of Cresswell. Obviously, he's a few months left in his contract. Ogbonna. You've got obviously Vlad's had his. I think he's had an extension already agreed. So is Fabianski. But then, that whole situation, Fabianski will be ready for the 24-25 close season in terms of coming to the end. So I think, best, is it the best case scenario? So I think it would leave us very light in terms of the squad. But obviously, we do have a cracking under 21 squad who could fill that in. 6 players. I can't see 6 players leaving in January. I could see 2 for definite. I could see Benrahma and Kehrer moving for sure. And then the next 2, possibly. And then maybe less likely the next 2. So it's almost like it's almost like, like very likely, possibly, unlikely. And even if we get the very likelies, you could get between, say, 25 to 40 million pounds for the pair, which obviously can be reinvested into bringing in some good players. I think we'll be utilising the loan market as well. We've obviously been linked to a couple of players. So I think the loan market is something we look at. And we'll talk about one of those players probably tomorrow that we've been linked with. And also players who may be on the peripherals a little bit of their existing squads. Because that's what Tim Steinen does. Doesn't go out and buy Ruben Diaz. He'll go out and buy someone like Joe Worrell or someone like, I'm just using the Premier League as an example, but someone who's a very good player. Maybe it's the wrong club for him. Maybe a new manager's coming that doesn't fancy him, but he's a good player. He pearl dives. He finds those pearls and brings them into the club. Or he goes to a completely different league and buys the best player there. So like the Eredivisie, we've been quite good on that. But someone like Mavropanos, for example, not necessarily a household name, but we've been linked with Jonathan Tah. We've been linked with... Who was the other one being linked with? It's gone. It was another German centre half. But anyway, so it's not necessarily the top tier. We don't go out and buy the Delict, for example. We'll go out and buy someone who's just around there, and they'll turn out to be a great player, just like Kudus. What a bargain! 38 million pounds on that man. You could sell him for 80 tomorrow, no problem, without even blinking. And that's the trouble in it, because they are going to be showed. They are going to be. There's no doubt. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know, Liverpool sell Salah. Wouldn't be surprised if they put a bid in for Kudus. Do you know what I mean? And that's the trouble. You play goods. And I mean, look at that. That's been Brighton's policy for many years. You buy players, you bring the next one in. You got McAllister. Now it's Matoma's there. And, there's always another one. And that's what we need. We need that sort of process in place, which someone like Steinton will be bringing into place more often. Whether that means David Moyes is in the dugout next year or not, we'll wait and see. But anyway, just thought I'd give you my thoughts. Let me know. Give me your list of who you think's most likely to leave compared to them out of those 6, or put your own in as well. Maybe you think, I don't know, maybe Souček's going to go, and let me know where you think they're going to go, where they've been linked to, and all that type of stuff. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends. Have a lovely weekend. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.